clicking for us was our defense. I punted more in one game and ran the ball more in one game than I have my entire career. And running the ball is exhausting, man. It's tiring. And so all the kind words that you had mentioned about my family, 70 plus years of coaching, it felt like I've achieved all those years Saturday night during the course of the ball game. But I do appreciate it. Then you pumped me back up talking good about me. John, though we met earlier today, the only thing you did leave out of it was my stellar career at Mount LaSalle, which wasn't that stellar, but he's Baptist, we're Catholics, so we're not allowed to talk good about one another right there. But I do appreciate it. A great introduction. It's always great to be back at the Macon Touchdown Club. This is, I think it's year 23, could be 24, that I've had the honor to be a guest speaker here. I look forward to it each and every year. Fortunately, now the drive is a little shorter from Birmingham, but you know, I used to make the 10-hour ride from Murray, Kentucky, to come down here and speak, and so I'm very appreciative you guys continue to ask me back. I get nervous every year that I come. You just run out of material. And so when I went to pick my dad up, I got here a little early, went to spend a little time with him. He said, man, the good thing about tonight is I think we have over 40 plus new members. And he goes, and then most of the other members are so old, they won't remember what you said last year. Okay, so if I tell the same story to you guys that are still sane right there in the middle, man, you just got to bear with it tonight, right there as far as that goes. But this is my 25th season as a head football coach. Just been very blessed to have had the opportunity to do this for this long. I hope to continue to do it for quite some time. And it's my 10th year at Sanford. So we're very excited about the opportunities that we have there. And again, I just appreciate what you guys do to promote football here in this town, especially the high school. Keith stole my thunder. You know, back in the day, I think we used to meet down at the Macon Coliseum downstairs and had the dinner there when I was 16 or 17. And man, you wanted to be the Macon Touchdown Club back of the week. Okay, the back of the week, and that was a huge deal. So I hope you guys today, Carson and Carson, both of you, I hope you guys appreciate, there's been a lot of great players come through here that have been the players of the week, and it's a tremendous honor. So congratulations to you guys, and good luck to you guys the rest of the way right there. With all the new ones, I'm gonna say it, I say it every year, I owe a lot to the club. I'm 51. You know, I see a lot of old friends, OLE, and then I see a lot of OLD friends here too, okay? And it was 51 now, 17 years old when I was fortunate enough to be the back of the week. And I always say it, you know, it takes people to help you get to where you want to get to. And you always got to be ready when your number's called. And fortunately, the good Lord was looking after me. The football gods were looking after me. I was not a very good high school player, so you did not leave many details out of the high school equation there. But you know, 5'9", 154 pound, rolling ball of butcher knives is what I thought I was at Mount LaSalle. Was fortunate to win the back of the week. And that night, the head coach at Valdosta State, Mike Cabin, great quarterback, AD up at Georgia now, assistant AD, happened to be the guest speaker that night. And after the event, one of his assistants who was with him came up to my dad. Really, they were recruiting players at Southwest where my dad was the coach, and I was just the beneficiary of that. Asked if I would be interested in walking on at Valdosta State. And of course, I wanted to be a college quarterback and have that opportunity, so I accepted gladly to go down there. And actually, they gave me, back then you signed a books available scholarship. And unfortunately, when I got there were no books available, so I was strictly a walk-on. And then fortunately earned a scholarship and was able to live out my dream, and then that put me into college football coaching, and here I am today. So again, thank you guys. I'm very appreciative of what you do. Congratulations to Ace over there, Bryce, Sawyer, Dutch, James, and Ace. I mean, you can't have a better football name, quarterback named Ace, who plays for Ace right there. And that's my little cousin. Now he's bigger than I am, and I'm very proud all you guys, congratulations on the season you guys have had up to this point, and good luck this week. Your blood's thicker than water. The first mascot I donned here as a little kid in Macon, Georgia was a Raider mascot. I was a Raider, a Patriot, a Cavalier, and married a Viking. So I got a little bit of everything there, but wish you guys the very best of luck this upcoming season. And Ace, I got to tell this on you, Ace, because I'm proud of you, man, right there. But so every Saturday morning I call Ace, and Ace, he's not much on a lotto. He doesn't talk a lot, at least not around me. But my second cousin right there. So I call Ace Saturday, had a big win, and he's asleep, and the quarterback talking right here. I said, Ace, how'd you play? I played all right, Chris. I played all right. I said, well, tell me your stat line. Well, I had 4 touchdowns throwing and 2 running. And I was like, pretty good stat line there, son. Keep up the good work right there. So you're doing a great job with him, Keith. We just got to get him a little more fired up, but I appreciate the humility there, Ace. So you guys keep going at the price, you'll be all right. You got me? Right there. So again, glad that you guys are here tonight. But I would like just real quick, and Keith always throws on me, but the other day I got asked about, Coach, if you could put together an all-star staff of guys that you've coached with, who would be on it? And, I sat there, man, I've just been so blessed. We've had a lot of great coaches that I've been associated with. First defensive coordinator is Will Muschamp, all right? Then first defensive back coach was Kirby Smart. One of the best running back coaches I have is a guy named Derek Foster. He's the running back coach now for the New Orleans Saints. Ron Dugan's wide receiver coach at Florida State, great player. And then, of course, my dad, he's the best hospitality director that you could have. And Philip's the best driver anybody could have right there. And then you got Buster Faulkner, who's the OC at Georgia Tech, and they're killing it right now. And then I said, you know what, though? And he ain't going to believe me. But I said Keith Hatcher would be in that all-star collection with those guys' names right there. He was my do-it-all guy. Started out as the JV coach at Valdosta State. Well, actually, he was the JV Director of Football Operations at Valdosta State, a little bit higher title, and then became the secondary coach. And unfortunately, he was so good, we all have him, quote, employees like that. They do such a good job, you just keep giving them stuff. You just keep giving them stuff. And when one coach leaves, you take his duties and you give it to the guy you know is going to get the job done right there. And unfortunately, I think I ran you out of college football because of all the things you did, but he would definitely be an all-star coach on my staff, so I appreciate you. And I know your players don't know this, but and this story's been told a couple times, but I haven't told it with this twist, and it's true. But when I hired Will Muschamp, 26, I was 26, Will was 27, and of course we needed a defensive back coach at the time. We had $8,000 left in our Division II budget in 2000, and so we're talking about who we would like to interview, and Will brought up, hey, well, Kirby just got out of the NFL, tried it out, didn't make the squad. He's looking to get into coaching, and I said, well, you think he'll take the job? And he goes, he wants to get into coaching. He has no other job, and he goes, I said, well, shoot, let's hire him. I knew his dad. I coached against Kirby, so the job was his. But Will said, look, man, we need to bring him and teach him how to go through the interview process, and put him on the board and make him go through the deal there. But I'm thinking, but we don't want to scare him off. We only got $8,000 to pay the guy right there, and so he comes down and he has his suit on, and and he's getting, I guess he's 23 or 24 at the time. And so start the interview off. I said, all right, hey, look, just tell me what y'all are doing at Georgia. Draw me up your base defense. Tell me how you would defend this formation. So he draws it up there, and all of a sudden, man, he starts loosening his jacket, and you just see sweat, he's nervous, sweat's pouring down. Me and Muschamp back there laughing. He's looking at the board right there, and finally, old Muschamp goes, hey, Kirby, if you'll play with 11 defensive defenders, you'll have a better chance of stopping them. He goes, oh yeah, I forgot this guy. He only had 10 men on the board, and no wonder he couldn't stop the offensive formation that we were doing. So I hired Keith. Keith and Kirby actually lived together, so Keith taught him how to play defense with 11 players. So I know there's a lot of Georgia fans here that appreciate you. We need to get him to send you some money for all those tutorial sessions that you gave him back in the day right there. So I'm very excited. But I talk about all-star staff. You're only as good as your staff. You're only as good as your players. I would mention earlier that I was the all-time winningest coach at Sanford football. And I tell our players and recruits whenever that moniker's thrown on me, is I haven't played a game or won a game since 1994, my senior year in college. And you win with good players, and you win with good coaches, and you win with good support. And I've been very blessed to have all that throughout my tenure. But coming down here thinking about that all-star staff question, as many as I got right, boy, I got a bunch of them wrong too. I had a chance to hire at one time Brandon Staley, who was the head coach of the San Diego Chargers. Didn't do it. DeMarcus Covington, who's the defensive coordinator for the New England Patriots, didn't hire him. Just wasn't the right fit at that time. And right there. And so 2 years ago, I go watch Clemson practice. And I'm out there talking to Coach Sweeney. He's a Birmingham guy. We're out there shooting the bull. And their defensive coordinator is a fairly young coach, great coach, does a phenomenal job. And his name's Wes Goodwin. And Wes comes up and he says, Coach, you remember me? I said, I sure do, Wes. I said, remember we discussed you being the defensive coordinator for the Murray State Racers at one time. And he said, yeah. He said, Coach, I was very disappointed that I didn't get the job. And I said, let me just tell you this. If you had taken the job at Murray State, that would have ruined your career. You would not have been the defensive coordinator at Clemson, as bad as the defense we had up there. So actually, I helped those guys get to the NFL and get to Clemson by doing it. So I was really doing those guys a favor at the end of the day. It's that time of year. It's a very stressful time of the year as far as coaching goes, especially now with myself having a fairly new team, a young team. And then, of course, a lot of you guys asked my son, Ty. He's the quarterback graduate assistant coach at the University of Oklahoma. In pregame, you're constantly looking at your phone, keeping up with his score, worried about playing your game. But it's a lot of fun. He's doing good. He told me to tell all you guys hello. I think he came with me one time about 20 years ago. Joker Phillips was the head coach at Kentucky and offered him a scholarship and never came through on it, but I won't hold that against you guys. Okay, but what I would like to do real quick is just kind of challenge all my award winners and the Ace football team tonight about just being prepared for when your opportunity arises, okay? And I told our team this story yesterday after our game about being ready. Be ready when your number's called. And there's a story about the little animals. They were playing the big animals in a football game. And it was halftime, and it was 49-0 big animals to the little animals. And the coach of the little animals, he walks into the locker room, and everybody's beat the heckin' back. They're all bandaged up. All us coaches have been there before, and if you could walk out the back door, you'd get on the bus and leave at halftime and never come back out. Had no chance to win the game. But to these guys' credit, they wanted to finish the game and do it right, so they ran back on the field in the second half, and the little animals had to kick off to the big animals. Little animals kick the ball off, and all of a sudden the tiger, he catches it on the goal line, runs it out, and boom, 10-yard line, man, gets knocked out. Centipede comes down out of nowhere, knocks him out. So, little momentum created for the little animals right there. So big animals run tall sweep to the left to the bear, and all of a sudden out of nowhere, Centipede comes and rips his head off. 3-yard loss. Then they toss it to the line on the other side. Centipede, 5-yard loss. Man, now all of a sudden the little animals, man, they get a little bit of juice about them over there on the sideline. Hey, man, we got a chance to maybe come back here in the second half a little bit. So big animals man, their pride got them. They couldn't punt. And all of a sudden, the quarterback drops back to pass, and the centipede leaps over the line and sacks the quarterback for a safety. And the little animals, man, they're going nuts. Centipede run off the field. Chipmunks come and give me 5, and everybody's all fired up. And the chipmunk said, man, he goes, if you just had been here in the first half, we would have a chance to win this game. He goes, where were you? He goes, I was in the training room getting my ankles taped. For you guys, they have 100 legs. They have 100 legs. You get that? How long that takes right there, okay? For my young guys over there, okay? You got it. You got it. You got it. But what I'll just tell you right here, you guys, is this: is you're living at a great time in your life. Enjoy the high school journey. Okay, enjoy what you're doing. Be ready when your number's called. Always be prepared, because you never get a second chance to make a first impression. And so I challenge you to do that. And I always tell our players all the time, and for anybody, and ask some of these guys around here, when you look back, you'll be more disappointed in the things you didn't do than the things you did. So make sure you take advantage of the opportunities that you have now. And if anybody ever asks you what you do, you always answer whatever it takes. So one day when you get in front of a guy and he's interviewing you and he goes, what do? You go, whatever it takes. And you're a conlock to get the job, all right? And you tell them I recommended you, okay? But I tell you, this season, it's hard for me to sit here and tell you what type of team we have. We're sitting this season 1-2. We played 2 teams that I don't know if they were really good or they were really bad. Okay, and I'm not sure where we're at. And then we played the University of Florida down there, and I told the referee, Johnny, before the game, I think Lee Davis, he was doing the game, and I said, you know, I found out our $525,000 check cashed, or right before the game, right there, we got it, and with looking at my budget, make sure it cashed. I told the referee, I said, look, we're going to take the ball. And I said, if we drive it down and score, because we were going towards our locker room, we've already practiced this, we're going to score, and our whole team's just going to run to the locker room, and we're going home for the rest of the evening right there. Unfortunately, it did not go that way, and I know they're having a little trouble down there in Gainesville, and you hate that for any coach. That's never fun. But when we showed up and I got to the tunnel, you have people who work the game. And I recognized the guy there from a couple years ago. You know, when we had Florida, it was 52-52 with about 8 minutes to go in the game, and they ended up beating us 70-52 right there, and that was Dan Mullins. I think he got fired the week before, and one of the workers there, he said, Coach Hatcher. He goes, you remember me? And of course I said, yes sir, I remember you sat here a couple years ago. And he said, man, if you can put on a show like you did last year, you may be have the distinction of having 2 Florida coaches fired. I took that as a compliment, which I do not know, because Coach Napier is a very good friend of mine, and his offensive coordinator played for me and was also our offensive coordinator at Murray State and at Sanford for a little while. So I have great, you know, I feel bad about even telling this. So it's 14-0 at half. All right, and we're playing really good. I mean, we're hanging in there, playing really good. And I'm walking back in there, and he goes, "You're doing it again. You're doing it again." I just kept right on walking. So I don't know if you're a Florida fan. I don't know what's going to happen. I had nothing to do with it. I was just trying to find a way to win a ball game right there, as far as that goes. But I tell you, it is a weird season. You know, you guys are doing the picking. You know how it looks, but I think this is going to be the new norm in college football. I mean, you look at the scores across the country, the scoring's way down. At the end of the day, the rules changes of the clock have slowed the scoring down, especially at halftime. You'll see a lot smaller scores. People ask, well, why? Well, you got an 8th official there, the center judge. It takes him forever. The past 2 years, we've been the fastest playing team in FCS, but it takes him forever to run all the way back there, set the ball down, and get back there. So he slows the game down. All the new timing rules is cut down possessions, or as Coach Smart calls them, exposures, right there as far as that goes. So I think you're going to see smaller scoring at the end of the day, and a lot more parity in college football. is what you're seeing due to the transfer portal and the way college football is going right now. So what I would tell you right here, and my advice to you is if your team wins by 1 or they win by 20 every Saturday, be thankful because each week's a new opportunity, it's a new adventure, and you just really at this time of year never know what to expect. Due to all the transfers that go on, and you really don't know what your team's going to look like year in and year out. But we're excited. We have a bye week this week. I had to remind our team last night that it was not an off week. You're never off, but we have a bye week. All right, so we're going to win on Saturday and have a good time doing it. And then we open up in conference play versus Furman, our arch rival, up in Greenville, South Carolina. The following week, so hopefully we can get on the winning streak there as far as our conference play goes and have an opportunity to win the Southern Conference Championship this year. But when you talk about all the changes in college football, the one thing that hasn't changed, and all coaches really believe in this, and it's our job to give our players the tools for success. Give them the opportunity to learn and to grow within your program and help them be better folks when they leave, and to have the tools they need to be successful at whatever endeavors that they try to. And then it's about the people and the brotherhood. There's nothing like being on a team or being involved in a club. So I appreciate you guys being here each and every week. Appreciate the new guys that are being here. King, it must have been a lucky night. King and I played against each other back in the day, pulled your name out. Mr. Bass back there, new member. His daughter and my wife were good friends. We used to me and Jim did double date, but me and his daughter and my girlfriend at the time used to double date. So it's always good to see you guys. And I'm going to end it right here. I was a Raider, Patriot, Cavalier, married a Viking, I was a Blazer, a Knight. I was a Wildcat, Kentucky Wildcat. We talked about that early. An Eagle. We even had a good time at Georgia Southern, didn't we, Keith? At least for 2 years right there we did. A Racer, now a Bulldog. I was a Texas A&M fan last year. I'm an Oklahoma Sooner fan now. But I tell you, I get more excited to tell people that I'm a Macon, Georgia native. And so I appreciate you guys. Wish all of you the very best. Wish all you guys, hope you can win 1 game a week moving forward. If you do that, you'll be champions at the end of the year. And look forward to the Sanford Bulldogs having a great year too. Thanks for all you do. Appreciate you. Go Dogs. Thank you very much. The 2-minute rule is really changed. It doesn't sound like much, but it's really changed the timing, and you're going to see a lot of people mess it up because when you get to about between 2 minutes and 41 seconds and 2 minutes and 49 seconds, depending on if you're ahead or behind, it's advantageous to take a timeout. But if it's 2 minutes and 39 seconds or below, you don't take one. And there's about 20 different scenarios, and think you got to make those decisions within about 3 seconds to do. So we're studying it, but it's going to be a lot different in game management at the end of the season.
What was the purpose of that?
The question was, what was the purpose of the 2 minute? I'm really not sure. It's not the 2 minute warning, it's the 2 minute timeout. I tell you, under a minute in the game, the timing rules change. Okay, so if a helmet gets knocked off, and depending on team A or team B's winning, it could be a charge timeout, a 10-second runoff. There's 1 minute timing rules, and so they made it now at the 2 minute break there that all the 1 minute timing rules apply. So it kind of gave the referees an opportunity to say, okay, all these rules go into effect at the 2 minute warning. And then I'm sure everything in college football now is run by money, and to get an extra TV timeout in there to pay the bills probably had a little bit to do with it as well. Johnny?
I was just going to elaborate on that. I think I saw something where they've encouraged the TV people to have a commercial left at the 2 minute timeout. And I'm not sure of this, but you might not see any commercials once you have the 2 minute timeout. I think that's another thing that entered into it too.
Anybody else? All righty. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great evening.